Demi, thank you for gracing us with your presence. She looks stunning right now, and she said she hasn't showered in a week, so we are very pumped.
I'm not proud of that, but thank you. I mean, I'm just kind of gross.
Exposed.
But you look like stunning, so it's not fair.
It's like the biggest trick I have. I have a great way of making things that aren't like, well, on The Bachelor, I did it by taking things that were very cheap and making them look expensive. So like, I'm a filthy crumb, but I have a way of presenting myself as if I am a dime, baby.
Yes. Well, we're going to start at the beginning and try to go a little in order, because you are from Colton season, and that seems like a lifetime ago, which is crazy. Like Colton season, blast from the past. Did you want him to be the Bachelor?
No, I said
I love the honesty.
I said anyone but Colton.
No way.
Yes. They called me and apologized to me. They said, Demi, we're sorry. It's going to be Colton, but we still want you. And I said, well, I've got nothing else better going. So
might as well.
I'm coming, baby.
So who did you want?
I think I wanted Jason, or like I wanted them to really just pull something out of the woodworks and get Brooks Forrester. Super old school.
But they literally apologized. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they knew that I didn't want it to be him.
So why didn't you want it to be him?
I had no attraction to him whatsoever.
Physically?
But, yeah, none, zero. I grew attraction for him, once I was in the environment and I was thinking about him all day, every day. And like, he was like all we were talking about. Like everyone was obsessing over this man. So then, I grew to have feelings for him, but no, I was not attracted to him at all.
Have you spoken to him since he's come out, or since his documentary, or anything recent?
I talked to him once he came out. I like messaged him about it because I was like, I don't remember what I said. Let's pull it up. Let's go to Twitter. Let's just
do it.
Ooh,
I'm a receipt giver without any explanation. And apparently that's rude. People have been saying to me, it's rude that you're just sending screenshots. Like, I told you so. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, here's the direct source of information and exactly what happened. That way there's no confusion.
So let's see exactly what you said to Colton on Twitter. Show us the DMs. I love that we can get this. Like,
I know this is exclusive content right here.
I said, hey, Coco, proud of you. My advice, don't read the comments. Live in love. And then he said, thank you. Honestly, it's been overwhelming and I'm so happy. Between you and I, this is no longer between you and I. I know I haven't handled everything in my past the best I could, but when and if I can ever speak on that, I will. Also, I sort of love the fact that the two of us were on the same season. Gay. And I said, we made the gayest season ever. I'm obsessed with that. I'm happy and I'm proud of you. I know how hard it is and it's fucking terrifying. And I know you know your mistakes, and I think you should talk about them more openly to make it right. I think everyone deserves forgiveness, and people can't forgive someone who isn't specific in their apology. Not like everyone else's opinion matters, but I think that you will feel better about it.
Are you referring to his drama with Cassie?
Well, yeah, because he said, between you and I know I haven't handled everything in my past the best I could, but when and if I can ever speak on that, I will.
If I can, like, what is that? Who's holding you back from talking about that?
But there's probably something going on like that nobody knows about. So like, I don't know if I could like.
Well, because Cassie had filed a restraining order against Colton. So I'm sure there was some sort of legal thing where maybe that's why he couldn't speak on it. But I obviously have no clue. That's just me.
Maybe. I mean,
thinking.
Maybe that could be, but
yeah.
Okay, so like I told him.
We're on first question, by the way, and like we've gotten so much out of this.
I know.
Literally, have you talked to Colton? I love it.
I know. I was like, but that was a long time ago. That was let's see,
when he came out.
April.
Yeah,
that was April of 2021, a year ago. And so and then he asked for my cell, but he never texted me. God damn it! Missed opportunity. I was so bored. But yeah, so. I don't know what all of that means, but I care more about Cassie. Like, Cassie's proven to be a really good friend to me. She comes through, and she's one of those people that I will always be loyal to. So like, Cassie doesn't even tell me anything about it. She doesn't talk to me about it. So like, I always want to be respectful of her whenever I speak about it. Like,
yeah, I feel like the headlines were never clear as to how Cassie found out. Like I was always looking and nothing ever specified if she actually found out through him or when he announced it.
I didn't ask her about it because I specifically don't, because everyone else is. And I'm like, dude, she probably doesn't want to fucking talk about it. So like, I talk about else, you know?
Right.
I would assume that she probably found out like we did, because I don't see him as ever being very honest in that relationship, like from what we've seen as the public.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's pretty fair. And
I haven't ever seen him seem to really respect her. So
do you want to talk? I'm curious what you mean when you say he doesn't respect her.
I think that Colton probably knew he was gay. And I'm like, I'm just confused as to why he was with Cassie, because she did not know that. And like, what was going on with all of that? Like, what I want to know. I've heard that he was on Grindr before our season. Why?
Well, that was why he came out. I think someone was blackmailing him that he had been with. That was on something. Maybe the first episode of his documentary. I don't remember.
Was he really on? Is that like confirmed? He was on Grindr, so he.
Let me Google, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Because it's honestly like that is. I want him to say I was the Bachelor because I wanted to be the Bachelor and I wanted the fame, so I pretended like I was straight. I want him to just say it.
Well, this is a headline from HollywoodLife.com. Colton Underwood admits he experimented with men and was on Grindr before The Bachelor. And that was May 12th, 2021. So yeah. And I'd seen that, I think, other places as well.
So it's like, it's a real lack of honesty here. Like, be straight up, make it make sense for us, because it makes sense. And I'm sure it does, but you're just not being honest, Colton. Yeah. You're not being honest with what's really going on here.
Now he's engaged, which was very quick.
Yeah. He's engaged to the opposite of the 30 women whose time he wasted. We could have we need a redo. We deserve it. Like, y'all gave us a dud, basically. Like, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
So are you guys not on good terms? Because you seem very angry towards him.
You just say it's a joke. It's like, oh yeah, I was on The Bachelor. Oh yeah, my bachelor was gay, actually. Like, what kind of joke is that? Where's my redo? Where's my chance at love, baby? I'm ready now.
Well, that's a good segue, and I need to skip over a few questions here, but your chance at love happened in Paradise.
Oh my God, I can never go back there. Are you kidding me?
The Paradise you went on.
Yeah. Well, she went on both. She went on the most recent one too.
Oh my God, why am I blanking? I meant the original one that you went on when you got engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of fans had questions as to, did you know that Christian was waiting in the wings to come out?
Question, right?
That question.
Okay, so I'll say that no, I did not know, but I might have had a feeling that it could be. They were playing into my naivety, and I was letting them. Like, I'd be like, is Christian coming? And they'd be like, I don't know. She said she didn't want to come. And I'd be
why would you ask that? If like that, I mean.
Because I told them from the beginning, I was like, I've been dating this girl. I'm open to dating other people, but like, I really like this girl that I've been dating. But I am open. Open. And Derek completely had nothing to do with any of it. And I had genuine feelings for Derek. Like, the producers would ask me, Demi, are you actually confused about Derek? And I'm like, yes. What do you mean? Of course I'm confused. Am I supposed to be acting confused? Am I supposed to be acting now? So I didn't know what was going on. I was ignorant to it on purpose, because I was like, if they want to make this into something, I'll let them. But I can't be in on that, because it'll just eat me alive. Of course, I'm sure that they wanted to have their first gay love story. I'm sure that was their agenda. For me, it was a fucking nightmare of roller coaster of emotions, of me not knowing what I was doing, and also not knowing if what I was expected to do with it, and having this pressure of oh, I'm the one with the fucking leading the torch with this whole thing. No, I'm literally just confused right now about whether or not I want to I'm not even sure if I want to tell the whole world about my sexuality. Fuck, my grandparents are gonna disown me, which they did.
Still?
I have been rejected by not only society, by my family. Like,
oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's horrible.
awful.
I'm sorry.
I don't care. I just want like to make sure other people don't go through this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's so hard. And you've been such like a trailblazer with this franchise. They've never had a gay couple get engaged on the show.
Well, it's like, I just wish that's what people were focused on, and like not focused on like how evil it is that it was like orchestrated or not. It's like, yeah, it was like somewhat orchestrated because there's like this general idea that that would be amazing if like what happened were to happen, but it didn't just happen like that. Like there was so many real emotions and feelings, and like,
Yeah.
it was a terrible time for me. And like everyone, for her too, like her family didn't know either. And like, we were just doing what we could do to be together. Like once I didn't have her around and I had only Derek and I was like with Derek, I was like, oh my God, if I'm with Derek for another second, I'm going to throw up. Like, I don't want Derek. I know that now. And then I had to dump Derek, and then everyone's blaming Derek for being in on it. And I'm like, that poor man. No, there was nothing fake between me and Derek either. Like, if anything, it was like me withholding from him, like the fact that this girl coming has been discussed. That is on me. Derek had nothing to do. And I also wasn't fake with how I felt about Derek. I really did like him because Derek is like a very charming guy. All the girls liked him.
Yeah.
So like, all of it was real, but yes, there's a sense of like orchestration behind it or whatever, but that's not the point. Like, the point is that we got two girls on TV on a show that they don't believe, they're sickened by it. Like, my grandparents were sickened by it, but guess what? We made them watch it. And that's like the first step, making them see it.
For sure.
Because I'm from the place where they need to see that kind of shit, you know?
Right.
Where it's important that kind of stuff is shown, because it's desensitizing their fucking like sexist, homophobic, racist asses.
Yeah. So you got engaged on the show. Was that pushed? Like, did ABC really want the engagement?
No, they didn't. They made sure to make it up to me. Like, not it on me at all. I think for me, I was not personally ready for that at all. As in, I thought that because I had doubts, I was like, you always have doubts whenever you're with people, and like, you know how good this person is for you and how this is like the partner that you should be with. Like, you know, that is someone really that is going to take care of you. Like, you need to tough it out and fix whatever it is in your brain that's making you like resistant. Like, I thought it was like something that I needed to get over, whereas it's as simple as attachment styles and ours being completely not compatible. I'm a very avoidant. I can be anxious avoidant, but I'm primarily avoidant. And she's anxious. And I had no idea what attachment styles even were at that time. I had a lack of information about life.
Yeah.
So I was not ready.
So is that kind of why things came apart? Just not two people that weren't compatible?
Two people with two different attachment styles. Yes. Like, the more anxious she got, the more avoidant I got. And like, I didn't want to be avoidant either. So I was like, frustrated with myself. So I'd be like, I'm sorry, I don't know why, but like, I really need you to not touch me. Like, please stop touching me. Like, please. And like getting hateful with it, not hateful with it, but more hurt with it, because it was my anxiety's growing. Cause I'm like, I don't realize that the anxiousness is making me more avoidant. I don't know what's going on at all. I'm just knowing that and freaking out, and I'm in a bad mood, and no regulation or anything. Just like I said, a lack of information about the world and about myself. I mean, I was living with an undiagnosed disability, for fuck's sake.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because I feel like you've been so open about that whole process and getting diagnosed later in life. And I feel like people just like have a lot of questions about, you know, how it's so underdiagnosed. And I'm just going to open the floor if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. So there's a group of basically what happens is autism is a social disability. And I think that that's where people forget that. They think of it more as like an intellectual thing, a learning disability. No, it's a social disability. It's my relationship with society. A lot of women, we get by on we get missed, we fly under the radar because we mask so well for survival. We're all just in survival mode and not realizing it. Like every time you feel adrenaline rush through your body, like your stomach drops. Like I don't know anyone listening that can relate to that feeling. That is fight or flight mode. That's trauma. Mm-hmm. So I've experienced that every day of my life, those moments of that throughout my days ever since I can remember. And I thought that was normal, and everyone else was going through these traumatic feelings of like fight or flight or freeze, you know, where you can't say anything at all, and just traumatizing ourselves constantly. Because whenever those moments, those fight or flight moments happen, what we do, how we react affects us. That's where I burn bridges. I lose friendships. That's why I realized something was going on with me that I couldn't figure out. So I was like, I always have the best intentions. I actively try to be a really good friend, like try to be there for them. I know that it's just like my language, like my mouth, like I always get in trouble with that. I say something stupid. I say something I shouldn't, like, and I was like, why am I just accepting that? Like, that's just something I do. I just am irritable. I'm just a bitch. I'm just an asshole. That's just me. Like, why am I doing that? And why also do I have zero friends anymore? And like, no one's talking to me. And like, I can tell that people are actively not inviting me. And so then I was like, well, let's self-reflect. Like, what have I done? Like, I'm the common denominator here. And I was like, oh my God, it's a bunch of misunderstandings. Like everyone in the world is just misunderstanding each other, right? Blah, blah. So I started talking to people about that, and they're like, Demi, no, you are misunderstanding. Like you are being misunderstood, and you are misunderstanding. Like it's not everyone else. And I was like, okay, well, I'm open to that idea. And so then I just locked myself in my house for like months, and I just started, I started just letting myself isolate, because I kept trying to isolate, and I like isolated myself multiple times in my life. And I just began to start to listen to myself. And women are taught from the day we are born to like comply, like to put aside every one of our needs and focus on everyone else, make everyone else happy. That is what we were taught to do. So I've been doing a lot of unlearning of that and realizing how many people don't like me even more. And I'm like, I don't care, because I know at the end of the day, the intent is what does matter. I don't care how, like, you know what I mean? Like what we're saying to each other. My struggle is I don't say it right. I never can say it right. But the people who know me and love me, they would never assume I would be meaning it in the way that you could take it, you know? So it's about surrounding myself with people who truly love and support me. And you know what? I had to pay some of them. I had to pay for it, but it's worth it to like finally just take care of ourselves. And I think that, yes, it's a thing. It's like an autistic woman who just found out she's autistic. But I think like as women in general, there's a lot we can learn from listening to our own needs and like not doubting our intuition.
Yeah. You touched on some friendships. I know you had a lot of friendships from The Bachelor. One of them specifically, you were really close with Hannah Brown. Are you guys still in touch today? What is your status of your relationship now?
No, I haven't talked to Hannah in a while. I don't like, nothing happened. No, I don't know. I think that she's just busy.
Okay. Yeah. And we don't have to touch on it.
I haven't talked to her, but I think she's just busy. Like, I think that it's just kind of like, I was actually thinking about this. I was thinking about this yesterday, because I was like, I have kind of texted her like 20 times and she hasn't responded. And then I was like, but I just kind of like thought maybe she was just like busy. And then she did respond like to me like the last, like a few days ago, and just said, that she didn't want to go on my podcast. And I was like, fuck the podcast. Like, I don't care about that. Like, I mean, like, I have a million other things I want to talk to you about. But I wonder if that because Nick doesn't like her and like says that he has a source that told her that, like, I wonder if she thinks that was me.
Wait, why doesn't Nick like her?
He said that on the podcast before. I think he's just rubbed the wrong way by her. I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead. No, it's okay. We just don't like gossip about people like that. Like, if he knows that I'm cool with someone, he won't talk about them with me. Like, he won't bring it up because he knows where I stand with them. Like, that would be awkward. So we never talked about Hannah Brown. So I wasn't the one who told him about Hannah, like about whatever reason he doesn't like her for, or whatever he said.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I'm not the one.
Okay. And
but I'm wondering if she thinks that I did that, because I was thinking about it yesterday because of the fact that it's well known that Nick has talked shit about Hannah Brown, and he said it's from someone told him that she wasn't a good friend or something like that. And
Caelynn?
And Hannah Brown hasn't been talking to me like at all. And I'm wondering if she thinks that I'm the person who said that, or who told him that she wasn't whatever it was. But it wasn't me.
Do we want to put the ask out? Hannah, why? What's
why-
going on?
Yeah, Hannah, if you are listening to this podcast.
And Hannah, if it's just because you're busy and I'm not around, like that's totally fine too. And I understand. And whenever I see you, I'll see you. But if there is any reason, like, let me know. I'm willing to chat. But if she doesn't even care enough to, what about that?
What about
Yeah,
that?
text Demi back. Text her back. You guys need to talk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here.
Your friendship was so like nice to watch on the show because you guys were both really girls with each other on Colton season. Hannah had some drama with Caelynn, and like I'm just like, that's one of the mysteries that I hate that I don't know the answer to. Do you have any insight as to what really happened between Hannah and Caelynn with the whole pageant shit?
This is my take on it, because I literally, it's what y'all know is what I know. Like that's the same. That is the story.
So like, annoying.
Here we go.
There's no more to the story except for like the detail that they were roommates. Because here's where it gets interesting. Whenever you're in the pageant world, you are all in a competition.
Yeah.
So it's just like The Bachelor is a competition, but in the beginning, it's all fun. It's fun. Your bunch of girls are together. The competition's not real yet. So I feel like whenever they were in the pageant, they probably got up to the pageant and it was all exciting and fun at first. And then the competition started getting real. And I think that because Caelynn placed higher, that probably like made Hannah salty. And so it probably caused like tension, like any normal competition would do to somebody, like, you know, a little bit of bitterness. And I think that that's just exactly what we saw on the show too. It's just like a little bit of salty bitterness of like, there's another side of you. That whole thing I think is like, yeah, there's a competitive side of people, and then there's like a non-competitive side of them.
Yeah.
So I think it's all kind of like everything in life really is a misunderstanding between people of like, you know, just personalities clashing and not wanting to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And I think that Caelynn is like the sweetest person, and I think Caelynn definitely wants to always keep the peace. But I think that they both would want to keep the peace, but they're also both not gonna let their name be tarnished.
Right.
As anyone would on that show.
Yeah.
Like, goal on that show is to make sure their well, except for mine, but that was because I had a different plan.
Yeah.
But I went the obnoxious route.
Well,
but then their reputation's on the line.
Right. And then Hannah obviously became the Bachelorette. But there were a few girls from that season that were up for that role, and your name was thrown around. Were you ever asked to be the Bachelorette?
It's not like they ask you to be the Bachelorette. You go through a process of like meeting with people, and like, yeah, I did that.
Okay.
They flew me out to LA, and I met with the big dogs, and yes, we entertained the idea. It was a joke to me because I said, there's no way they're making me the Bachelorette. And they were like, maybe Demi. But like, it was more in my perspective, it was like, well, why not? I'll go ahead and do this, do these interviews. But
might as well.
There's no like spark glimmer of hope in my mind for this.
Okay.
Because I did not see it actually being possible. But yeah, they were considering me as one of them.
Did you sign a contract, and who did you think they were going to choose?
I did not sign a contract. Nope. I did not even get that far. I went, they flew me out, and I spoke to the top, Rob Mills, some Martin guy who, me and Martin did not get along. And Mike Fleiss was not there. He was supposed to be there, but he was in Hawaii or something. I was like, so I'm definitely not going to be the Bachelorette.
Right. He couldn't fly from Hawaii for this meeting.
Like, Mike Fleiss ain't even here, people. Why are we wasting my time?
Yeah. So who did you think?
I thought it would be.
Because Hannah was like a random choice. Like I was so
People were
hardcore
surprised
Hannah.
when they
No,
picked
I
her.
thought
Yeah.
it was.
I wanted her so bad. I thought it was the brilliant choice, but she wasn't the typical
Hannah
out of
Brown.
the bunch. Yeah. I mean, I feel
I knew
like
it was her because whenever we were filming the show, me and Hannah Brown had a little bit of like a special treatment, a little bit differently, because I had a special treatment because I was a puppet. Like I was like super down to do whatever. Like I was really low maintenance. I did not ask for anything. Like I was okay, but it wasn't even on purpose though, because it all started this way. We were in Singapore and Courtney, me and Courtney, like everyone was being so mean to her and like talking shit about her. And I was the only one telling her, like, Courtney, you know, you're being annoying, you're being this, like, stop, like, why are you doing that? And so she was upset with me, which I understand, because like I wasn't ever coming up to her and like being super friendly. I was like, Courtney, girl, stop. Like, what are you doing? I was like, everybody's annoyed, blah, blah. But I was trying to be honest with her. Either way, Courtney did not like me. And I just felt like we were fighting like siblings. You know what I mean? Like I loved Courtney, but like I was like, yeah, we're just not getting along right now. So there was no beds left in this room in Singapore. None. And they were all cots. And there was none left. And so there was a couch. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just sleep on the couch. Like there was a couple beds people had. And then there was cots. Everyone claimed everything. I was like, I'll sleep on the couch, I guess. Courtney says, that couch is for everyone to use. And I said, okay, Courtney, where do you want me to sleep? And like, it was just a joke at that point. And like, Hannah was with me and Hannah was like, what, Courtney? She has to sleep there. And then a producer was like, Demi, there's another room. It's okay. Well, you can have this other room. And everyone was like, Demi's going to be isolated. Well, the other room was the on-camera penthouse, baby. The other room was the nicest room that they had in this hotel. The other room was the VIP, baby. So like, it worked out in my favor that I ended up getting that time. But the producers, I'm talking special treatment, as in special treatment isn't so much special treatment as it is observations and seeing how many more producers and what producers in the hierarchy of producers are speaking to her. Why are executive producers talking to Hannah Brown in the middle of the day randomly? Like, why is Alon here right now talking with me and Hannah? And why are the executive producers always with us? Like, why are they not with these other girls? Like, I could just read the fucking room and I knew well, I could tell what producers you're working with. I know what role you have on this show and what their plans are with you.
Okay. Interesting.
If you have certain producers are around, like, yeah, Alon loved us. There's no fucking way it wasn't going to be one of us when Alon was always around us. Alon came out of nowhere and he was coming to hang out with us.
Yeah.
And all the other girls were running up to him and Alon was looking for us. That's how you know. You can just read, oh, I see. Also, PDA, pathological demand avoidance, we're very socially manipulative because it's a survival skill, but it means that I can see. So I'm socially manipulative, as in I know that me being obnoxious and acting a fool is going to get me airtime. I know that that's going to get me accepted. I know that that's going to get me where I want to be without me realizing it's a subconscious thought. Like I didn't know why I was acting, like why I was so down to be wild and so like whatever. It's because I'm socially manipulative and I'm trying to manipulate my airtime, baby. I'm trying to manipulate this to where I can get to where everybody knows me from this show so I can get out of my fucking parents' house, baby.
And you did.
And you did it. Fuck yeah. I feel like when you were on the show, I feel like a lot of people compared you to Corinne. Was that an intention when you were thinking of the things that you were saying and doing on the show?
I loved Corinne more than anyone I'd ever seen on the show. I never once was trying to act like Corinne or had her in mind during any of it. It wasn't, Corinne was in my bank of information of things I had seen and observed of like, I know that if you're not liked in the house, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If people are like, if you're doing things that people don't like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's what I learned from Corinne. It's not a matter like the one-liners and stuff like those those were in the moment, like who I can come up with those all the time.
Yeah.
You know, they're stupid. And also the producers got one-liners. They'll give you one-liner and you'll be like, dear God, I would never say that. I would say this. And then you take it and make it 10 times better.
Okay.
Jordan Kimball has the most amazing way of doing that. You tell Jordan Kimball he's a genius. You give him one line and he breaks that up into like 10 different jokes instantaneously.
Yeah.
I've never been so capable of this skill. It's beautiful. It's like, oh my God, how did you make that so much funnier and like so much longer, more complex and clever? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it is a genius. I mean, to be on the spot and be able to rattle off funny one-liners, like you have to know what you're doing.
One more question about Corinne. We had her on the podcast and asked her about you, and she wasn't very nice. She said you were a poser and stuff. And then the next day you posted on your stories like something about, oh, if only me and Corinne could have teamed up, like we would have been unstoppable, something of that. Do you remember the exact quote, Stephanie? I don't remember.
I mean, that was pretty much it. Like you were like, it was, but the timing, it was literally,
we were
the
like,
morning
did
of the
Demi
podcast.
hear what Corinne said on our podcast?
No way.
Oh, no. We were like, it has to be it. She
Like
knows, she knows. We thought you had seen it.
Well, I might have seen something about her doing the podcast. Like that might have been it. Like that. I definitely had to have seen something because I don't know why I would have randomly brought it up, but I didn't hear anything that she said about me.
Yeah.
I really didn't think she would be saying bad things about me still because she apologized for it before. Like, good God.
I don't want to bring up more drama.
You should have said the poser like, so.
Well, but that is what she said. We didn't say it. She said it. That's what she said.
Bitch, I'm autistic. I am posing. I'm trying to pose as neurotypical my whole life. Yes, I'm a poser.
So what she did say though was she didn't have an issue, but she felt that maybe producers were trying to make you another Corinne. That like she got.
They did it. They did a better job of it because I got more popular from it. Sorry, Corinne. Guess what, baby? Join me. You can't beat me. Join me because I would accept you with open arms. I just said I love you. And like, I thought that you were my favorite from the show ever.
So is this the first time you're hearing? Because she has spoken out prior to our podcast. She has spoken out about.
But then I thought she took it all back.
She's since apologized. How did she apologize to you?
No, not to me. No, she apologized like on some like podcast. She was like, I said, or not podcast. It was like a show, like an interview show.
Okay.
And they said like, she was like, I've said things about her and like, oh, it's because I think it was with Lauren Zima because Lauren Zima was like, I love Demi. I met her several times. Like, what? And then Corinne was like, oh, like I feel bad for what I said. And so I thought that she had realized like I gave her the unasked for forgiveness for all the things she had said. She said some wild ass shit about me. That girl put on a wig and did a whole number about me. And I was like,
didn't she used to do like YouTube videos or something like that?
They were great. I thought they were so entertaining. I thought she should have kept it up, but kept my fucking name out of it. She just like was so set on hating me so badly instead of like realizing that she should be flattered and like be like, hell yeah, girl, let's try to build this brand together. We could build the brand together, Corinne. Think about if both of us were trying to make crazy ass YouTube videos like that together. It would be way more, Corinne, girl.
We're reaching out to everyone in Bachelor Nation
Hannah?
on this podcast. Hannah, Corinne, everyone who's listening.
Imagine what we could do if we worked together. Imagine the Demi and Corinne show. Like this bitch has not ever considered all of the amazing things we could do together because she's so mad at me taking her idea or taking her brand or whatever it is. And it's like, Corinne, this is just who I am and I'm just like you. Okay? I'm just like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so true. I would watch that show. That show sounds amazing.
I think it would be so amazing. Wow.
So what are your thoughts on her today?
I have the same thoughts. I think that she's probably calling me a poser and all of this stuff just because she's mad that I got more followers, like, or she's mad that I got more attention or whatever, which is a completely human reaction. It's fine. I understand. Yeah. I'm understanding of her behavior. But now moving forward, Corinne, I'm going to judge you on it. If you know where I stand now. I've said what I needed to say.
So I am a little bummed that we really thought that it was you hearing about our podcast and responding, because I think you posted that story like the same day the episode came out and we're like,
I probably saw that she did a podcast.
Yeah,
I probably saw that y'all did the podcast with her or something. I didn't go and listen to it. I think that it was like a genuine thought. Like I
Yeah.
always, nothing I do is calculated or planned. That's why it never works out so well for me. Cause I just say whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking this right now. I'm just going to put it out there, be authentic, be real. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, people don't actually want that.
You know what's funny though, that
True.
day, so like the episode with Corinne had just came out and we saw your story and people were sending me the story because they're like, is this Demi responding to what Corinne said? I'm like, I don't fucking know. So I messaged Corinne and Corinne's like, I have no clue either. And you tagged her in it. So she's like, obviously I saw it. And I think Corinne ended up sharing it. And I'm like, well, why did you share it then? Like, which is it? Like,
that's why I'm saying, like, she's saying all this stuff, but that's not what she really means. Like, she's just, her energy is channeled in the wrong channel. Like, channel all of that energy you feel towards me, Corinne, into working with me and us taking over the world together.
yeah.
What could happen then, Corinne?
Well, she was,
imagine the possibilities.
she was just spotted with Scott Disick. So she's probably busy. She was just spotted with Scott Disick apparently. So she's a little busy taking over the world with Scott.
That's not the PR I want. I don't want to be seen with Scott. I'm trying to be seen with Travis.
Right?
I'm trying to be seen with Travis's friend even.
Right. I do want to go back to Hannah's season for a hot minute because I have some questions that I'm dying to know. So you were on Hannah's first episode when she was the Bachelorette. How staged and manipulated was that? I mean, you walked in and then the tea about that guy with the girlfriend, like that was fake. No, like how did that happen? Well, I mean, someone had to have given you all that information.
No. Oh no, baby. This right here is all genuine. So this is what happened. I got a message from a girl on Instagram and I sent it to one of the producers and they this was like I'm talking right before like her night one. Like this is like all happening in the moment. Like it's crazy. And I get this message. So I go and I send it to a producer who is a producer that I really, really like. And I consider more of a friend because we don't do on camera stuff. We don't do that together. But I was like, yo, this girl, like, I want to talk to her. Like, let's get all of the details. And so we had to sit there and like, we went to a restaurant for hours of like me validating, like finding the tea, getting the tea from this girl, to get it from this girl. Like I had to go through this network of people, record the phone calls, get them to sign NDAs, like all of this shit to actually get to the truth and to find out if this man really did this, what they are claiming he said he did. And that we found out it was all true. So then I said, yeah, I'll go in there and bust him. Fuck yeah, I will. Because he is a fraud. He was with the girl the day, but he left. She dropped him off at the airport. I said, let me in there. I've got all the evidence. And it all started from like a Facebook group. Like I love the Bachelor fandom because these women are going to get they are going to get the tea.
I thought for sure that was staged. Wow. That's
what part
nuts.
did you think was staged?
Well, I assumed they wanted you on the show. So they came to you with this like I'm sure the guy really did have a girlfriend. But I thought it was very much, I never thought for a second you were actually like calling people, texting, getting the story.
I was getting all of the tea.
You should get a producer credit.
I know, seriously.
I tell them that all the time. Like in Paradise this time, I was like, guys, I'm on the clock right now.
Yeah. Wait, but like, what is the irony that all happened the first episode? This guy had a girlfriend and then your girl ends up choosing a boy that has a girl back home. Please shed some light.
I have no idea how anyone could pick anyone except for Tyler Cameron. I think that there's just something like Jed is like a very like fun guy to be around, like nice guy. Like whenever I met Jed, the first thing he did to me was apologize. Like he didn't even say hi. He looked at me and he was like, I could see that he knew he disappointed me, and like he didn't even know me. And he was just like, yo, like, I'm so sorry. And like all this stuff, like all he wanted to do was like make it right. Honestly, at the end of the day, he really wanted to make it right. He was dishonest about the whole beginning of it. I think that going into the show, every person on the show is going to be on a show. They're not going just to find love. So I think that everyone's head is not there for the right reasons in the beginning. It's like, yeah, like, of course everyone wants an open idea at love, but like, you get on a dating app for that. You don't go on national television. That's like, you're putting everything at risk there. Like you're clearly going to be on TV for the fame, for the clout.
Right.
To some degree. I'm sorry, but I just don't see why anyone would go on national television and risk their reputation if they didn't want clout.
You were besties with Hannah when that whole breakup went down. So how was that being like on that end of things? Like what happened with that we didn't see?
I was filming Paradise.
Okay.
So Hannah came to Paradise. I don't know if you remember that. She came to Paradise to talk to me.
So was Hannah like regretful that she didn't just choose Tyler because it would have made her life a lot easier?
Well, of course. And like she liked Tyler so much. Like it was a hard decision, you know, whenever she picked Jed. So then she felt like, oh my God, like I'm so mad. She was mad that she picked Jed. She was so hurt over it. And she found out over a People magazine article. Honestly, I would have done abusive things at that point. Jed would have been a dead man.
I would never be able to like pass a magazine stand ever again. It would be like PTSD after seeing an article.
Holy shit. Like finding out that your man is lying to you from a People magazine article. Now your man has a lot he has been withholding from you. And you just went through forming a relationship with him on national television for the world to see. Like, oh my God.
And you could have chosen like so many
like
other
the hottest
people.
man in the world.
Right. You could have chosen a god.
A literal god.
I'm still waiting for the day that Tyler Cameron ever is desperate enough to hit me up.
Would you hook up with him?
Same, Demi, honestly.
Yes. When I met Tyler Cameron, he went on a podcast after and he was like, yeah, I met Demi today and she was so beautiful and blah, blah. I have been holding on to that. I have been Tyler Cameron said I was beautiful. I'm worth it.
Put it on the resume. Demi, let us come on your podcast and we'll bring our listeners over to you. And
so my podcast, I do love my podcast so much. My podcast is amazing. I work really hard on it. I say exactly whatever I'm feeling, which isn't always the right way, but I'm willing to change my ways of thinking all the time too. So it's fun, creative conversations, also real, juicy conversations. I will find out whatever we need to find out, you know?
What is the name?
I don't know how to,
so we know how to find it.
What?
What's the name of the podcast so they know how to find it?
Oh, my podcast is called Demi Goddess. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, though, on YouTube, we have a video and it's great quality. It's really fun to watch the video and see everyone like playing with STEM toys and it makes everyone look beautiful. It's like a glam cam, I swear. I love it.
Ooh, cool. Nice. And we're going to be going on, so go check it out. I'm in, we're both in New York.
New York, yeah.
Where you're in LA, right?
Well, we've been flirting with the idea. Well, we should do a podcast over Zoom, but then we've been talking about like we need to go to LA and like book a shit ton of podcasts to do in person there. So
can we hang out
in person? Yeah.
Of course, you guys can stay with me.
Can we?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
dare I say, FOTSDA, friend of the show, Demi. We call our listeners FOTS, friends of the show. So you are a FOTS, you are FOTSDA, friend of the show, Demi.
Wait.
It sounds so crazy. Yeah.
Break this down for me again.
FOTS, FOTS.
Friend of the show. That's what we call anyone who's like a fan of our show.
A friend of the show.
No, it's cute. I like it.
Yeah. So you're FOTSDA because D at the end.
Okay.
FOTSDA.
Friend of the show, Demi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are going to plan a trip to LA. We're going to go stay at Demi's house and we're going to continue this friendship because it's beautiful. And you guys can check her out on her podcast, Demi Goddess. You may hear some familiar voices sometime in the future if she will allow us. And we will be fucking cheering for you because you're doing some great shit. And we're really proud of you and how far you've come with the whole franchise. And
thank you so much. That again is like you're validating me and making me feel more too. Like that feels so good for me to hear.
Will we see you on the beach before I let you go?
No.
Done?
No, I won't be back on the beach. No, guys, that would be embarrassing. And also I am way too like mentally thinking differently than going to Bachelor in Paradise and dating on the beach. I'm trying to figure out like, what happened in your childhood.
Right. Bigger fish to fry than giving out a rose on the beach.
That's not a good fish to fry either. It's just that I'm frying a different fish right now.
Yeah.
Salmon.
That makes sense.
Totally different.
I'm on salmon right now.
Okay.
I love you.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.